Welcome. This is Mr. Fisher Flips 3rd grade math. We are using Math Expressions by Hoeflin Mifflin Harcourt Publishing Company, published in 2013. Today we are going to look at and review Chapter 4 because we have a test this week. There's 3 things that I want to be able to show you today. First of all, we're going to look at vocabulary, some of the things that you'll need to know on the test and how to add and subtract. Second, I'll show you your homework. And third, I have an option for you to do a quiz. Well, here's your homework. It's actually 2 pages long. You'll be getting this on Monday afternoon. So you'll have 2 days to do it. It'll be due on Wednesday. Notice there's 20 questions, a front and a back. Let's look at the vocabulary first. Now, I've been accused of giving you material that is not on the quiz or on the test. Well, the vocabulary I did check is not on the test, but you do need to know how to work with these vocabulary words. Let's look at these vocabulary words. And if we look at it, we're going to look at some of the basics that have helped us throughout this chapter. And so if we look at, start with the A's, addition, right here, we can see that addition is a mathematical operation that combines 2 or more numbers. Notice it uses 2 add-ins, 2 numbers that are added together to equal a sum. Well, if we look at the opposite, at subtraction, we're going to find subtract, to find the difference of 2 numbers. There's subtraction. Subtraction, also a mathematical operation on which 2 numbers gives a difference. So 43 minus 40 equals 30. Let's also look at estimate. If we look at estimate, right here it says estimate is about how many or about how much. So when the questions on Wednesday's test ask you to estimate, you're going to tell about how many or how much. And that part will be on the test. Hundreds and thousands. If you look at H, there is no hundreds, but if we look at place value, we can see where the hundreds is at. So place value, we can see that hundreds, tens, and ones. And it goes right in order, so 962. So the value assigned to the place that a digit occupies in a number. If we look at a place value drawing, we can also see how important that is. We have 2 ones, 6 tens, and these represent hundreds. So drawing represents this number. How do we represent thousands? Now, how do we represent 1,000? That's right, it's a bar. There's 1,000. That gives us a good overview of how the vocabulary will be used on Wednesday's test. You need to be able to know what those terms mean in the problems. Let's take a look at a few of the problems. First of all, here's a place value drawing again that we just looked at. If you notice, here on the top we have 200 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 280, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 285 plus 176. And so this is basically a reminder when it says to make a place value drawing, you have to draw it out. Let's look at another problem. Here's where it says to estimate. Instead of rounding to the nearest 10, we're going to actually look at this 6 and look at that 5. Because that 5 is closer to the next 100, so 50, we're going to make that 700. So 700 plus 142, if we look at that 4, we're going to round down to 100. So the estimate right there, if we add it together, is 700 plus 100. Do you know how to ungroup? If you look at that 6 right there, you can't take 7 away from 6. So what do you have to do? You have to ungroup 100, make it 16. And what do you do with that 7 now that we crossed it out? You make that 600 because we had to borrow 100. Now you can be able to subtract that fairly easily. Those are reminders of what you should be doing on some of those. Let's look at another couple. I just picked 3 that we can look at: an addition problem, a subtraction problem, and a problem that goes horizontal. Let's look at 772 plus 129. 2 plus 9. 9, 10, 11. What do I do with the extra 10? I can put it up here on top, or I can put it right here. I'm going to put it there because I always forget to add it when it's on top. 7 plus 2, 8, 9, plus this one is 10. Make that a 0. What do I do with the extra 100? I'm going to put it right here. 7 plus 1 plus 1. 8, 9. 901. So there's the answer to that one. Let's try this one. I can't take 4 away from 0. Do you remember what we're supposed to do? I'm going to have to borrow. Well, I'm going to come over here and borrow from this and make that an 800. What do I do with the extra 100? I bring it over into the tens column and I make that 100, 10 100s, but I still have to borrow from them, so I'm going to borrow a 10 and make that a 9 and make that 10 now. Do I cross this out? No. Now I can take it away. 4 take away from 10 is 6. 9 minus 5 is 4. And 8 minus 7 is 1. If we look at 604 minus 138, I just can't see it. One of the things that I like to do is make it 604 minus 138. I'm used to doing my adding and subtracting this way. Can I take 8 away from 4? Nope. Make that a 5. Make that 10. Gonna still have to borrow, so I'm gonna regroup. One more 10. 14 minus 8 is 6. 9 minus 3 is 6. 5 minus 1 is 4. 466. Now, you can just go across this way, but I always forget, and sometimes I don't regroup and ungroup some of my numbers. So that's why I put it vertically instead of horizontally. Maybe that will help you on your test. One more thing I wanted to check with you is the wording. If Gordon bakes 346 blueberry muffins and 287 bran muffins, how many muffins did he bake in all? Which operation am I going to use? It says right there in the yellow. How many in all? What's another term for that? Adding. So this part you're going to have to add. That gives us a review of how story problems are going to be worded, and make sure that as you go through this that you read each question thoroughly. I'm going to give you an online quiz, and it's 7 questions long, and I'm going to give you the answers after the quiz. So these are test type questions that you'll find on Wednesday's test. They won't be the same questions, but they're be very similar. What I'm asking you to do is stop on each question, answer it, and then at the end I will give you the answers. Let's get started with question number 1. I'll read it to you, and then during that time you should pause at some point, figure out whether it's A, B, C, or D, write it on a piece of paper, and then we can go on to the next question. A basket of tomatoes contains 10 tomatoes. Jim takes 26 baskets to sell at the farmer's market. In addition, he takes 7 extra tomatoes he has remaining. How many tomatoes does Jim have? A, 17, B, 33, C, 260, or D, 267. Now, you should have been able to pause during that time, figured it out on your own. I'm going to go on to question number 2. Which number is equal to 2 ones plus 3 hundreds plus 0 tens? A, 23, B, 32, C, 230, or D, 302. Now, at some point you should have paused while I read that. Question number 3. What number is shown by the place value drawing? A, 169, B, 196, C, 691, or D, 961. Next question. Question number 4. This one you might have to stop and actually work out on a piece of paper. 340 minus 244. Is the answer A, 94, B, 96, C, 194, or D, 196? Going on to question number 5. 903 minus 76 equals, is it A, 273, B, 827, C, 927, or D, 973? Question 6. Andre bought 995 bricks to build a garden border that took only 823 bricks to build. The number of extra bricks is given by the equation 995 minus 823 equals 172. Which addition equation shows the total number of bricks? A, 995 plus 172 equals 823. B, 823 plus 172 equals 995. C, 995 plus 823 equals 172. Or D, 823 plus 995 equals 172. Hopefully you were able to figure out that answer. Question number 7, final question. Veronica has 425 Pokemon cards. She gave 125 of them to her brother. Veronica's cousin gave her 285 Pokemon cards. Veronica says she now has 833 Pokemon cards. Is her answer reasonable? Explain, then find the actual answer to check if you are correct. Yes or no. So first of all, you have to figure out whether it's a reasonable answer, and then you have to explain. Let's go check if you've got these questions correct. Take out your piece of paper and see if you got these correct. Question 1, Jim's tomatoes. The answer was D, 267. Question 2 was a mixed up expanded form problem, and the question's answer was D, 302. Question 3 was a place value drawing, and the answer was C, 691. Questions 4 and 5 were both subtraction problems. The answer to question 4 was B, 96, and question 5, the answer was B, 827. Question 6 was the story problem. You were supposed to check your answer because you had to reverse it using addition, and the answer was B, 823 plus 172 equals 995. Now the last question was no. You were supposed to estimate and see if that was a correct answer. Well, this could be your possible answer. A possible explanation is no. the answer should be closer to the estimate of 600. 400 minus 100 plus 300. The actual answer turns out to be 425 minus 125 plus 285 equals 585. So she was a little bit high. That takes us to the end of our lesson today. Make sure you study hard for the test that is on Wednesday. Your homework won't be due until Wednesday, so that gives you an extra day if you need to practice. Also to go over some of the extra answers. There are 20 questions on the assignment, so make sure you do those. But also do your WSQ. When and where did you watch the video? Sum up what you saw. If you sum it up, you can say, well, I learned about adding and subtracting. And a question can be, I don't get number 20. Maybe you can help me. So that's our lesson for today. Thank you, and good afternoon or good night.